Em and I were scheduled to come to Bonaire in April of 2020, but of course the world shut down that March and we had to postpone our trip. But 3 years later, in August, Em and I finally made it here. And wow, do we finally understand why everyone loves this place so much. Join us as we share the highlights of our week-long trip and the 13 dives we ended up doing on Bonaire. Bonaire is a small island that's part of the Dutch Antilles collection of Caribbean islands, and it lies just 20 miles off the coast of Venezuela. It's widely considered the shore diving capital of the world, and you can see why. With 61 dives scattered around the main island, almost all of them accessible by shore and hardly any deeper than 80 feet, it's a diver's paradise. There are another 26 dive sites around the uninhabited island of Klein Bonaire, but we chose not to dive those on this trip. Those require boat dives, and we wanted to immerse ourselves in the shore diving experience. We arrived on a Saturday afternoon, checked into Buddy's Dive Resort, and headed over to the shop for a briefing and a checkout dive. The checkout dive is mandatory when you arrive at Bonaire, but it turned out it was really just a self-checkout. They told us to just jump into their house reef and wander around on our own for a while to see if our buoyancy was good enough. Buddy Dive Resort is located about halfway up the west side of the island, a 5-minute drive north of Kralendijk, and about in line with the north edge of Klein Bonaire. For the first video in the series, I'll share some of the highlights from Buddy's Reef. The house reef is entered using one of the 2 short ladders right by the dive shop. The dive starts with a wide, shallow, sandy-bottomed area. Here you'll find a large bed of staghorn coral that houses tons of small fish. Buddy Dive Resort participates in Bonaire's Coral Reef Restoration Project, and you'll also find coral trees and boxes placed around the sand to nurse emerging coral heads. You'll also find a cute Buddy Dive sign where you can pose for a photo, although Em didn't quite grasp what I was trying to get her to do. When you're ready to head over the reef head, a rope leading from the ladder down over the reef helpfully shows you the way out and back again. You'll find lots of the usual reef fish here, and most of them seem very comfortable having divers close by. Take a look at this barjack, who decided he wanted to swim about a foot in front of my camera for a couple of minutes. I've never seen so many trumpet fish and cornet fish as we did on Bonaire. They seem to be everywhere. And again, they're not afraid to let you get pretty close. the graceful spotted drum, and one of our favorites, the porcupine fish. And the find of this first dive, a golden-tailed moray. A little more time in the shallows on the way out, and we were lucky enough to see another porcupine fish, as well as a majestic tarpon. This little checkout dive was just a taste of what was to come. Join us next time as we try out some dive sites a bit further afield, starting with our favorite Salt Pier, which we visited 5 times.